Hello, class. My name is Shakenda Dickens, and for the topic of discussion for week one, we're supposed to reflect on a meaningful speech that we heard. A meaningful speech to me was presented by Dr. Maya Angelou in Langston University, probably over 15 years ago. I was like 8 or 9, so it was like the early to mid 90s. She spoke of a few of her poems, but Phenomenal Woman is the one that reaches out to me because I wanted, like, she was respected. She was a scholar, and she was an activist. Like, she had purpose, and I want to live my life with purpose. I would love to be respected. Respect is one of my biggest pet peeves. I want people to respect me, so I give respect. And I want to be smart. I want to know all that I can. That way I can do more to help others on this earth, because I think that's what we're all here for. Not to hate each other, to hurt each other, but just to live life in joy and peace. So, and what other way to do that is to promote each other, to support each other. So that's why it meant something to me. The rate of speaking, I think she said she wanted to discuss the rate of how people hear and process the language and the rate of speaking. Well, I think that goes with rhythm, because if you don't have a rhythm, you're going to lose your audience. Like, rhythm, it grasps the audience attention, like, separate from the subject or interest that you're speaking of. And I've noticed that listening to even speeches from the mayor, speeches from the president, or even in class or something, there's always a rhythm and emphasis on the words that you speak. So I think, boom, 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 pause, and then boom, 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 kind of like music, half notes and whole notes. It all flow. It's got to flow. And you can pause to give the audience, like, time to think about what you're saying, time to process, so they can question themselves, or just repeat what you just said in their mind, and then they can understand. And then that's when they start gnawing, and you get your ahs, and you get your ohs, and you get to acknowledge the fact that you recognize that they are recognizing what you're speaking of, so they are receiving what you're talking about. It meant something to me because, there was something that she said. I'm going to quote, I don't have to jump about or talk out loud. I'm phenomenal. I don't have to grasp for the attention. I don't have to hoot and holler or change my hair to purple or red, or, wear short skirts, or, I can accept my indifference for who I am, but I don't have to try to be something that I'm not just to grasp the attentions of others. So that's what I got from that. And how I got there was, one of the college professors was a member of our church, and she took a lot of us girls from the neighborhood, and some friends of, children, some friends of, or some children of her friends, and, just around the neighborhood, to hear her speak. So we could get an encouraging word, so we could process that. And I know we were young, but at the same time, you're comprehending and understanding things even at that young age, because we're learning, we're growing. So to hear her say that, and I think how we process that being so young is because of the rhythm. And then, like, we would ask questions, well, what does that mean? What does this mean? And then when they speak to us in detail, boom, you're like, oh, okay. So I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it because it was the first time I ever seen somebody famous in Oklahoma. And I had knew about her because we had to do research on, for Black History Month, on Black people, or just anybody who did anything to help the Black community. because a lot of Black people aren't acknowledged for the work that they've done. Like inventing the stoplight, just inventions and march movements, like I said, civil rights activists, for fighting for equality, all that stuff, leaders, inventors, and people of such. So that's where I had heard of her from. That's what I know her from. And I've seen her in a few movies. So when we got the opportunity to go see her, I was like, ugh, but oh my gosh, because she was an older woman, and we were on college campus, and there was all these old young adults, but they were older than me. So, and then there was elderly people, teachers and all that. So I was glad to go. It changed my perspective. And because when I got there, I was like, ugh, all these older people, where are the kids at? What are we, can we go swimming? But I did learn something from her. And when she said those words, I reflected off of that, because it meant something to me, because that's the type of person who I am. And still being that person, I can still be respected. I can still be heard. I can still be acknowledged. And people will still notice me for being a good person, for being a respectful person. So, and for even being encouraging to others. That gave me motivation to keep my head held high, and to go to school, and to finish school, and to be somebody. So that's why I chose Phenomenal Woman by Dr. Maya Angelou. Thanks for listening, and good luck.